I just hold the button down.
All right. Hello, hugs over mass. Freedom fighters everywhere. I said hello. Hi, guys. All right. How are you guys feeling? You know, you just heard the human rights code, right? Hey, guys, I need distance. Today I want to talk about a few individuals. I was born on Canada Day and I'm proud of it. We're all Canadians here, right?
Hey, can you leave him alone?
We're all Canadians here. Now, did you know Doug Ford? You know, Doug Ford, I'm sure he's got some good traits about him, right?
Psychopath.
But did you know he called us anti-maskers? Did you know that, right, everybody, right? Did you know? Can you show me the picture of Doug Ford, please?
Hey, get away from my camera, please.
Can you guys, can you show me a picture of Doug Ford, Fraser? Just to get a picture here. Here's Doug Ford. He called us anti-maskers, okay? Just think about that. Our most basic personal freedom is showing your face,
I'm going to
right?
physically remove you.
Fraser,
I don't think you want that.
thank you. Can you show me the next one? Now, Bill Gates.
That's my friend right there.
This is important, guys.
Can you guys
The whole
try to get a
impetus.
rally here?
The whole impetus behind this pandemic, we know the virus is real. I went over the real numbers. We went over them in the last speech, right? It's on YouTube and Facebook. Here's Bill Gates with Del Tedros, WHO. Now, thank you. Bill Gates. I talked about him in the last video, right? The Old Boys Network. Tony Fauci. Show me a picture.
Hold it up.
Show me a picture of Tony Fauci, please. Right here. The fake scientist. He puts out fake science. Dr. Shiva exposed him, right? He was the first one, the great Dr. Shiva, who has a bottoms-up revolutionary movement in Massachusetts, right next door. And we got a bottoms-up movement in Canada, and we're going to escalate this movement. And I want the police to be on our side. You know, Black Lives Matter, I don't think they talk about enough about reforming the police. You don't defund them, right? Because as I said in the last speech, you guys agree with me or not? Every bottoms-up revolutionary movement, every major movement, as Dr. Shiva shows you, real history, the police join the working class, right? And they say, screw off to the establishment and the military. I might have an informant at Lockheed Martin, like I said, but we won't go there. But this is important, everybody. So Bill Gates, he paralyzed roughly 470,000 kids in India with very dangerous DPT vaccines, by the way, right? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talks about, you guys can smile while I'm talking, relax, man. But we're exposing them, right? Bill Gates in Africa, him and Melinda Gates have literally sterilized millions of African women, okay? And they're living at Bill Gates. They know what he's doing. Now they got to have a vaccine card, they got a MasterCard, they got to be updated on their vaccines. The whole impetus behind this pandemic, as I said in the last video, right? We know it's a vaccine story, and it's also a depopulation, population control story. Bill Gates comes back on CNN, right? He uses CNN. He was just on Fox News for more propaganda, right? Because they want to roll out these dangerous vaccines, unfortunately. It's a huge money scheme. We have a friend here in this group whose son, it's okay to say it, has autism from a dangerous vaccine. And how do we know that vaccines cause autism? It's not just from vaccines, but when they tripled that vaccine schedule in 1989, Robert and his doctors talk about it, we know it, right? That corresponds to the epidemic of chronic diseases. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with the Children's Health Defense Fund, Del Bigtree, they talk about it, millions of people, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Right? Do we have to stand behind people like this, the Children's Health Defense Fund? Let's educate people at Starbucks, for example. There's some good people, but a lot of them are indoctrinated. They're on corporate media, okay? I'm the only guy that goes into my Starbucks on Lock Street. I say my Starbucks, but you know, and I'm the only one that doesn't wear a mask. You just say you're exempt. Bill Gates, he came on Fox News and he called us anti-maskers. The first time he was on Fox News. And you know what he said in the title? It came on my phone. He said, we're anti-maskers, and the title said, do they think they're nudists or something? Have you ever seen Bill Gates wear a mask? Have
No.
you ever seen any billionaires wear a mask?
No.
How about Jeff Bezos from Amazon? Does he wear a mask?
No.
How about Dana White? He wore it once, right, in Dubai, because he had to. Dana White, who's doing amazing work with the UFC. You got all the healthy UFC fighters, the healthiest men on the planet. And I love UFC. I hope you guys do too, right? No crowds right now with the fights. Have you? All the fighters are masked up. Think about that. The healthiest guys, if they ever got COVID-19, they may get the sniffles. What are we doing? Right? And if you want to wear a mask, you know, I want to tell, we got to talk more about Bill Gates and Tony Fauci. Dr. Shiva was the first. Can you send me a picture of Dr. Shiva somewhere over there, please? Dr. Shiva was the first one. No, that's not Dr. Shiva. He's there somewhere. He was the first one to expose Tony Fauci, right? Because he puts out fake science. Bill Gates and Tony Fauci are the absolute prostitutes and frontsmen for Big Pharma. And why are they pushing out vaccines? Why is the focus vaccines? Well, we know the 1986 Act that people are talking about, right? There's complete free liability. So no matter how egregious the injury to you or your child, as Robert says, right? No matter if they maim you, kill you, and your child is debilitated for life, they indemnify the vaccine manufacturers from any injury to your child, right? They carved out, they literally hijacked parts of the Constitution. Think about it, right? Because they carved out part of the court system out of the U.S. judicial system to create vaccine court. It's really called U.S. Special Master of Claims Court, I believe, right? And I read an article once. The shocking things about vaccine court, get this, the pharmaceutical manufacturers, they don't even have to show up for proceedings, right? And it's going to be very similar here in Canada, where, again, the U.S. justice system acts as the defense's lawyer, and the taxpayers fit the bill for the defense. This is on the books. It's unbelievable. I study the secret space program, the Black Bunch of Technology, but the last several months, like you guys and ladies out there, we are fighting for truth, health, medical freedoms, just like Dr. Shiva is. Have you found him yet? Fraser's Flight is fast. It's in there somewhere. My friends, Tony Fauci. Do you guys know who Tony Fauci is? Yeah. Right? Has he been a prostitute for Big Pharma for what, 30, 40 years? Right? He's killed millions of people. The guy said that HIV causes AIDS. Dr. Shiva tells you. Any doctor knows HIV does not cause AIDS. It's an immune-required, deficiency. What eradicates disease, and even the CDC had to admit, because they do very good data gathering, even they're notoriously corrupt. They said in the first half of the 21st century, vaccines had almost nothing to do with the eradication of disease and infection, right? It was improvement in nutrition, good water supply, right?
Yes,
Vitamin
yes.
D. And, well,
Healthy
that's one
terrain.
of them, but there's a bigger picture of Dr. Shiva there somewhere. Thank you.
Healthy terrain.
Hey, so it's improvement in nutrition, the water supply, sanitation, refrigeration. That's what does it. But pro-vaxxers, God love them. But you know what? They'll never debate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and they'll always go back to smallpox, right? And I can see why. It may have saved a lot of lives, apparently, with smallpox, but as Dr. Shiva said, it also killed a lot of people. And the bottom line is this has become a money scheme, right? Yep. And now we have good sanitation. Yes. We don't largely never need a vaccine, hardly ever. And when you're with your doctor, as Robert knows, the relationship between a doctor and a patient has profoundly changed, where the doctor is no longer necessarily there to serve you. There's some good doctors. Thank you. There's Dr. Shiva, everybody. Yes. Now I'm supposed to get to some closing points. Here's the closing points, everybody. They make $50 billion a year from mandated vaccines. Robert tells you, and he's got to back up everything he says, because Big Pharma's listening to him, right? They got the best doctors, virologists, Children's Health Defense Fund. They make $500 billion a year selling the treatments of the chronic diseases that the vaccines cause. Again, that started in 1989, right? We could list all the chronic diseases. I don't have time. But on the vaccine manufacturer's insert, that's the one place that you can go after a
Yes.
vaccine company's
Yes.
rubber shows, right?
Yeah.
That's the one place. If they know of a side effect or suspect one, they gotta list it on the vaccine manufacturer's insert. Well, guess what's listed? This is why I get so riled up. Autism.
Yes.
That's one of the
Yes.
for the DPT vaccine. A lot of
Yeah.
parents know it. We got a document right here, everybody. We got a document that shows right here on the vaccine manufacturer's insert. Adverse events reported during post-approval use of Tripedia vaccine include, I can't read but there's SIDS and it's got autism, okay? Now, why is autism important? Well, you know why, right? Can you imagine a parent who has a child with autism? It's a real challenge, isn't it? God love our children. So we got to protect our kids. And as Robert tells you, autism, we all know, it dwarfs the coronavirus crisis. Half of the kids that have autism, they will never utter a word, and adults, right? They will never go on a date. They'll never serve in the army. It's okay. We're still recording from this man here. They'll never serve in the army, as Robert tells you, right? As I say, they'll never go on a date. 1 in 34 boys has autism right now. And it's only going to increase. We got to stop this nonsense. It's a money scheme when it comes to vaccines. The last thing I want to say is that Big Pharma has been losing money since the 1980s. Dr. Shiva shows you. He had a company that he was going to sell, one of his powerful technologies that maps out viruses on a computer. They've had a 30% increase in their R&D budget, right? And a 30% decrease in their allowances. So now the focus is on vaccines. And Bill Gates is the head of this. He's the propaganda machine, all right? They make 17% compounded annual growth each year from vaccines, right? And now they want to mandate vaccines for adults. That's the only way Big Pharma can probably make money. But we're not going to allow it. We're not going to allow our kids and adults to be injected, especially against their will. Am I right? Are we going to fight for Canadians on this issue and so much more? Hello?
We're gonna fight. Come
All
on.
right. Thank you so much, everybody. I wanted to talk for the first time about the dangers of vaccines. I'm trying to dig in. I don't have all the answers, but the truth is there. The numbers are there. There's a lot of good people still in Big Pharma, but we're talking about the establishment, and they're very evil. As Dr. Shiva says, these people are very organized, very shrewd, and very evil, and people underestimate it. But we are going to crush the establishment. Dr. Shiva tells you, we're going to crush them. And us Canadians, let's get our power and sovereignty back, okay? Never compromise your health integrity. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
Come
you.
to my BitChute if you don't mind at Jason Cosmic Truth Authority. Bye-bye.